Hello builders, and welcome to another building video. In this one we have for you the lovely little lynxes. Now personally, I love my cats. I love the lynxes, I love the tigers, lions, all of them, but more than all that, I love my boy Noctis, my sweet little black kitty, my good luck charm. Noctis is also the inspiration for all the emotes that I've created for my Twitch channel. Look at him, look how cute he is, so adorable. But we're not here to fawn over my kitty as much as I love doing that. Let's get on with the building, shall we? So first thing on the list here is we're going to create a little viewing area so guests can come in and look at the lynxes as they sleep. The building will also double as a viewing area for the wild boars, which will be the next video coming out on the channel very soon. Now, I love doing round buildings, and I haven't actually had a chance to build one for a while, as most of the European buildings I had done here were square and modular in shape. So I decided to treat myself, so let's do a round building. A quick and easy way to do round buildings in Planet Zoo is to create, well, first a straight wall, as we're doing right now, and getting that set up just the way you want it. Feel free to take your time with this, because this is one of the most important parts of doing a round building. Because when we're done, we're going to copy and paste it over and over again, and you want to get it right the first time. To make sure it is right, you want to do a couple little tests here and there, just to see how all the pieces line up to each other. In this case, I took the little side posts and I angled them ever so slightly off, just so that when the building comes together, the posts are, well, lined up to the rest of it. And don't worry about it looking like I did it in my first go. I ended up copying and pasting this thing and doing quite a few tests, but I just cut them out of the video for time's sake. Now with the building complete, it's time to position it just in the right spot. The building is also going to be doubling for the wild boars, so I have to keep that in mind of the placement, because I'm going to have the lynxes onto the right side of it and the boars on the left. Of course, we don't want the guests to have just one vantage point of the lynxes, so we're going to create a little side path here, a little elevated area for guests to have a nice view of the little kitties. Now, just to edit this building a little bit, I want to create some one-way glass viewing so guests can see into the lynx habitat and also into the lynx's little sleeping cave, which we'll be building next. And similar to how we built the walls in the first place, once we build one little glass wall, we just copy and paste it over to fit the space. And speaking of copy paste, never be worried about copying buildings that you've already built to other parts of your park. It saves you time and it helps create a more uniform theme to your park. And right now, as you can probably see, we're building a little staff entrance for the back end of these two exhibits. Make sure you put a staff only sign on it to keep those nosy guests from poking their heads where they don't need to be. And with the building most done, we just have to add in a few little fine details here and there. Starting with the pathing, which doesn't take too long, just a quick little circle. Okay, that's a little bit of a lie. It did take me a little while to get the circle just right. But you know what? I'm just going to cut that out of the footage and pretend like I am doing a really good job at building with paths. And I don't want a roof with a hole in it, so I'm going to come in here and just add in a little bit of a plug for that hole. Now let's start creating a little hideaway for the lynxes to sleep in. Whenever I get the chance, I always love creating a more natural cave for animals like this, because it just helps make them feel a little bit more at home. And it helps guests with their little bit of immersion and escapism to make them feel like they are actually in the wilds with the animals. And if my little black kitty Noctis is anything to go by, I know cats love climbing, so of course we're going to go in and add in a bunch of climbing frames and little platforms for them to sit on inside their cave. One piece of advice I love to add into my videos is to remind people to never just do the ceilings first. Always do your interiors first, because once you put that ceiling on, it's going to make it a lot more difficult to get the camera in there to do all that fine detailing. Although here I am partially breaking my own rule of doing the interiors first, but I merely decided to add in these little stalagmites and stalactites afterwards I added the roof just to make it look more like a cave. Something I wish I thought of before I put the roof on, but hey, it's always okay to go back and adjust things to make them look even better than before. And now it's time to add in a quick little barrier for the exhibit. While I was working on it, I decided I want one more viewing area for guests to hang out in. So we're just going to create one little back end viewing area for guests to sit in, and it will double up as an education point as well. Now this building doesn't have to be anything too fancy. I'm just going to create it in a similar style to the rest of the European area, with a little bit of stone base on the bottom, and some limestone on top to make it look like a little bit of plaster. And we'll just add some little wooden accents to it and then copy and paste the walls over and over again to create that lovely look that we want. Oh boy, and now that the buildings are created and the barriers are in place, it's time to get on to my favorite part of the build. It is the stonework. It's the rock work, the best work. I love covering my exhibits with rocks and making them look all natural. What better time to use it than to cover up some of the barriers and just really blend in that glass and walls with the rock to make everything look more natural. Create that immersion look we're always going for in this big old zoo of ours. And I like, before getting too far into doing the interior of the exhibit, is just to put in a few little toys and feeders around the exhibit, so I kind of have an idea of what I want to plan for when really getting into the nitty gritty of placing rocks inside for the animals. Now we're going to give the lynxes a little fun place to climb outside. And what better place than just a big old stone pillar in the middle of this clearing with some climbing frames for them to, well, climb on. Now coming over to the opposite side of the exhibit, it's time to just finish off this rock wall real quick. I'm going to make it nice and easy. We just create one little rock section, copy paste it over, and bam, it's done. Copy paste is my favorite tool in this game, and it has saved me literal hours of work. But we ain't done with just one little rock wall here. No. We got more work in store for you now. It's time to add in a waterfall and a little river running through the middle of this habitat. Because if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I love waterfalls as much as I love a rock work. While creating this waterfall, I wanted to have it split into two sections, a dual waterfall if you will. One will be flowing into the lynx habitat, and the other will be flowing into the boar habitat, which will be in the next video. And now with all that glorious rock work nearing completion, it's time to add in a bit of green to this lovely little exhibit. Although we're not quite done the rock work yet. First things first is we have to add in the moss, which I always consider to be a little bit of rock work as well. Just really green rocks. I especially love adding the moss to the water. It just makes sense as everything's a little bit more damp around there, and it will allow for the moss to really get a grip in and grow. There's just something satisfying deep down when a habitat starts coming into its own. When you just start layering in all that bits of grass and flowers along the bottom, the big trees are going in, oh, the whole thing just comes to life and I love it. And now with our Lynx buddies finally into the exhibit, I can double check to see if there's anything that needs to be adjusted with their pathing. Of course, there is usually always something that has to be adjusted. You can't plan for everything. But luckily this time around, there was only a few minor adjustments with their toys not being able to reach. Other than that, the Lynxes were able to get around their exhibit fabulously. And it's always important to decorate the exteriors of the exhibits as well. Leading up into the education point, we just add in a little garden, and then we do a little bit more decorating on the interior of the education point as well. Of course, we have to add in a few little cardboard boxes and other toys to keep the Lynxes having fun now, don't we? If they're anything like my cat, they're going to love the cardboard boxes. Wow, where does the time go? We're already nearing the end of the video. I hope you've all enjoyed this amazing little Lynx build. I certainly enjoyed making it for you. Feel free to subscribe and check out some of my other building videos if you enjoyed this one. I have tons up on my channel. Also like and comment, that always helps the video analytics and gets these things out to more people. Also check me out on Twitch where I am building these live, and if I'm not playing Planet Zoo, I'm usually playing some other chill game we can all relax to and build in. Link to Twitch and also my private Discord down below if you want to join that and share your pictures with me of your zoos. With that whole spiel over with, I will leave you all with that normal lovely flyby we do for the end of my builds. So enjoy that, have a great day, and happy building everyone!